The lights dim, the crowd roars, and the tension in the air is thick enough to cut with a knife. This isn't just any fight, this is a once-in-a-lifetime clash between two of the most electrifying figures in combat sports history. On one side, the man who redefined heavyweight boxing with his brutal power and relentless aggression, a fighter whose very name strikes fear into the hearts of opponents, Mike Tyson. On the other, a master of psychological warfare, a two-division UFC champion with lightning-fast hands and an unmatched ability to sell a fight, Conor McGregor. This is the showdown fans have only dreamed of, a battle between generations, styles, and legacies. But what if it really happened? What if these two warriors, in their absolute primes, stepped into the ring, gloves laced, eyes locked, ready to test who truly reigns supreme? The atmosphere is electric, the entire world watching as these two icons approach the squared circle. Tyson, his signature black trunks and piercing gaze, looks like a man possessed, a force of nature who needs only one opening to unleash devastation. His power is the stuff of legend, capable of ending careers in a single exchange. Across from him, McGregor stands calm, exuding the confidence that has carried him to the top of the fight game. He smirks, knowing that while he may not carry the same bone-crushing power, his precision, movement, and ability to adapt could be the keys to victory. Experts are divided. Fans are in heated debate who holds the edge. Will Tyson's overwhelming ferocity break McGregor down? Or will Conor's unorthodox angles and counter-striking expose weaknesses in Iron Mike's armor? The first bell hasn't even rung, but the mind games have already begun. Tyson bounces on his feet, his head movement like a coiled viper, always shifting, ready to strike. McGregor, ever the showman, offers a playful feint, testing reactions, looking for the slightest tell. The energy in the arena is unlike anything before. It's more than just a fight. It's a spectacle, a battle of philosophies. Tyson, a machine forged in the brutal world of old-school boxing, where raw aggression and technical prowess ruled. McGregor, a modern-day warrior who shattered conventions, blending martial arts with mind games, proving that unpredictability is just as lethal as power. For a moment, everything is still. The echoes of history and hype collide in a single heartbeat. The bell rings. Tyson explodes forward, his signature peek-a-boo style in full effect, cutting off the ring like a predator stalking prey. McGregor sidesteps, staying composed, using every inch of the ring to maintain distance. The first punch is thrown, a Tyson left hook with the force of a wrecking ball. McGregor slips just in time, countering with a sniper-like left hand that lands flush. The crowd erupts, and just like that, the battle has begun. But what happens next? Does McGregor's precision prove too much, picking Tyson apart with accuracy and movement? Or does Iron Mike walk him down, cutting off all escape routes, forcing him into a firefight he cannot win? This is more than just fantasy. It's a test of strategy, power, and will. And as the first round unfolds, one thing becomes crystal clear. This isn't going to be a fight. It's going to be a war. Tyson barely acknowledges the sting of McGregor's counter, his expression unchanged, his relentless forward march continuing. The Irishman, light on his feet, knows he can't afford to stand in one place for too long. He circles, testing angles, throwing out quick feints, trying to read the rhythm of the beast in front of him. But Tyson isn't just power. He's precision wrapped in destruction. Every step he takes cuts off a path. Every shift of his shoulders disguises an explosion waiting to be unleashed. The fight isn't just happening in the ring. It's unfolding in the minds of these two warriors, each trying to impose their will before the other can find their rhythm. The crowd watches in breathless anticipation, aware that at any moment, one of these men could change the entire fight with a single shot. McGregor flicks out a jab, testing Tyson's defenses, but the heavyweight barely reacts. He's studying, waiting, ready to close the distance and do what he does best. McGregor's speed is evident, his ability to slip punches and return fire making it clear he isn't here just to survive, he's here to win. But can he keep this up for an entire fight? Tyson's presence alone is exhausting. His ability to pressure, to force opponents into uncomfortable positions, an art form in itself. Beyond the ropes, the debate rages. Analysts break down every movement. Former fighters weigh in with their predictions. Some say McGregor's precision and reach could give Tyson problems. Others argue that no amount of skill can withstand the force of a prime Tyson once he gets inside. A select few believe the psychological aspect is just as important. Can McGregor get into Tyson's head the way he has with so many before him? Or is Tyson's mindset, shaped by years of war in the ring, simply too unshakable? These questions fuel the tension, adding layers to a fight that is already legendary before it has even truly begun. But this fight isn't just about physical dominance or technical mastery. It's about legacy. Tyson, the youngest heavyweight champion in history, a fighter whose name alone has become synonymous with raw power, is here to prove that old-school boxing reigns supreme. That in a battle of skill versus savagery, he is still the ultimate force. McGregor, a man who broke barriers, who carried an entire sport on his back, stands firm in his belief that his movement, his intelligence, and his ability to adapt make him the superior fighter. This isn't just about winning, it's about cementing a place in combat sports history. The round progresses, and the energy in the ring shifts. Tyson closes the gap, forcing McGregor to pivot, to react faster than he ever has before. A sharp right hook skims past McGregor's jaw, a fraction of an inch from changing everything. The Irishman exhales sharply, his mind racing. He knows what's coming. If Tyson finds his range, it's over. But if he can keep the fight at a distance, if he can chip away at the bigger man, make him miss, make him pay, then maybe, just maybe, he can outlast him. Outside the ring, the world watches with clenched fists, knowing that this fight is far from decided. The tension, the stakes, the sheer magnitude of this battle continue to build with every second that ticks by. And as the round nears its end, one thing becomes undeniable. This isn't just a fight. It's history in the making. McGregor exhales, rolling his shoulders as he keeps his feet moving, feeling the weight of Tyson's presence pressing in on him. Every instinct tells him to stay sharp, to keep the distance, to make Tyson work for every inch of ground. But the former heavyweight champion has no interest in playing a long game. With the kind of controlled fury only he possesses, Tyson shifts his weight, dips low, and explodes forward with a ferocity that sends a shiver through the crowd. His right hand flies like a missile, cutting through the space between them, and just as it seems like the fight is about to take a catastrophic turn, McGregor does something unexpected. Instead of retreating, instead of slipping away like he has been all round, he plants his feet and meets Tyson head-on. The impact is electric. McGregor's left hand snaps forward, a perfectly timed counter that lands flush against Tyson's chin. The crowd gasps. No one saw that coming. Tyson's head jerks back for a split second, but if anyone expected him to stagger, they don't know who they're dealing with. The punch barely registers in his eyes, and instead of slowing him down, it only fuels him. A wicked grin flashes across his face, a silent acknowledgement that McGregor isn't here to run. He's here to fight. The atmosphere shifts. Tyson, now fully engaged, stops playing the long game and begins his assault. He bobs, weaves, closes the gap even further, and throws a devastating left hook to the body. The sound of the punch echoes through the arena, a sickening thud that makes even the commentators pause. McGregor grimaces, his ribcage rattled by the sheer force of the blow. The pain is instant, but he knows he can't show it. He sidesteps, trying to shake it off, but Tyson smells blood. He pushes forward again, this time launching a brutal combination uppercut. Hook, right hand over the top. McGregor ducks, blocking most of it, but the pressure is suffocating. For the first time, doubt flickers in McGregor's eyes. He's been in deep waters before, has faced the toughest men in the world, but this is different. This isn't an MMA fight where he can clinch, where he can mix in kicks or take the fight to the ground. This is Tyson's world, and right now, he's drowning in it. He tries to regain control, flicking out his jab, circling away, but Tyson is relentless. The Irishman needs to change the momentum and fast. Then, in a moment that no one could have predicted, something shifts. Tyson, pressing forward, suddenly hesitates for just a fraction of a second, an almost imperceptible pause, but one that McGregor notices instantly. His sharp instincts take over, and he capitalizes. He feints to the left, making Tyson react, then pivots sharply to his right, creating just enough space to launch a counter. His left hand flies, a perfectly placed shot that clips Tyson clean on the temple. The force of it makes Tyson stumble, not a full knockdown, but enough to make the crowd explode in disbelief. Tyson, always the predator, shakes it off immediately, but McGregor sees something in his expression, a flicker of surprise, a brief acknowledgement that this is no ordinary opponent. The Irishman smirks, despite the pain radiating through his ribs. He knows he has Tyson's attention now. He knows this fight is far from over, and for the first time, the possibility of winning feels real. But as the seconds tick down in the round, an eerie tension fills the air. Tyson adjusts his stance, his expression darkening, his movements slower but even more calculated. It's not frustration in his eyes, it's something far more dangerous. He's adapting. He's learning. And just as McGregor starts to think he's found a way in, Tyson gives him a look that sends a chill through his spine. A look that says, "You got your shot. Now it's my turn." The bell rings, momentarily separating them, but the war is just beginning. Tyson returns to his corner without a word, his mind already working through the adjustments he needs to make. McGregor takes a deep breath, wiping sweat from his brow, knowing that what just happened was only a glimpse of the storm that's about to come. The fight isn't just about skill anymore. It's about survival. And neither man is willing to break first. Tyson leans against the ropes in his corner, breathing deep, his eyes locked on McGregor across the ring. The momentary stumble he experienced wasn't enough to shake him, but it confirmed something important. McGregor isn't here to be a highlight reel knockout. He's here to win. That changes everything. His corner gives him instructions, but he barely hears them. He doesn't need reminders about what he must do. He knows. Across the ring, McGregor sits on his stool, his chest rising and falling as he processes the last round. He felt the power, absorbed the punishment, and somehow he's still here. That alone is a victory. But surviving isn't enough. If he wants to do the unthinkable, he has to find a way to turn the tide for good. The bell chimes, and they rise. No hesitation. No wasted movement. Tyson closes the gap instantly, his footwork deceptively quick for a heavyweight. He fires a right hand, then another, forcing McGregor to move. The Irishman is light on his feet, weaving, circling, but Tyson is cutting the ring off like a master. The space is shrinking. McGregor tries to counter, but Tyson slips and fires back with a devastating uppercut. The shot lifts McGregor slightly off his feet, and for the first time his legs wobble. The crowd erupts. He stumbles back, trying to regain control, but Tyson is already on him. A brutal left hook crashes into his ribs, sending a shockwave of pain through his body. McGregor's vision narrows, his instincts telling him to clench, to buy time, but this isn't an MMA fight. The referee won't let him hold for long, and Tyson knows it. He pushes McGregor off, loading up for the kill shot. The moment feels frozen in time, Tyson's fist coming forward, McGregor barely standing. The end is near. Then, the impossible happens. Just as Tyson's punch is about to land, McGregor pivots. A fraction of a second before impact, he shifts his body, rolling with the punch instead of absorbing it fully. Tyson's fist grazes past, losing just enough force to keep McGregor on his feet. And in that tiny window of opportunity, McGregor strikes. A counter left. Perfectly placed. Perfectly timed. It lands flush on Tyson's chin, and for the first time in the fight, Tyson's legs betray him. He stumbles back, eyes momentarily wide with shock. The crowd gasps. McGregor sees his chance and presses forward, throwing combinations, hoping to do what no one thought possible. A left. A right. Another left. Tyson covers up, absorbing the shots, waiting for the storm to pass. But McGregor isn't slowing down. He lands another crisp punch, snapping Tyson's head back. The once unstoppable force of nature is against the ropes, and for a fleeting moment, it seems like McGregor might just pull off the impossible. Then, with the instincts of a born fighter, Tyson roars back. A single right hand cuts through McGregor's offense like a blade, slamming into his jaw with terrifying force. His legs buckle. His body locks up for a split second before crumbling to the canvas. The crowd explodes, a mix of shock and awe washing over the arena. The referee steps in, beginning the count. McGregor blinks, his vision spinning, his body refusing to cooperate. He hears the numbers being called, his mind willing himself to rise, but his body isn't responding fast enough. 6, 6, 7. He grips the ropes, trying to pull himself up. His legs feel like they're made of lead. 8, 9. He's halfway up, but the referee has seen enough. 10. The fight is over. Tyson raises his hands, sweat dripping down his face, his chest heaving as he takes in the moment. He walks over to McGregor, who's now sitting against the ropes, disappointment and exhaustion written all over his face. Tyson doesn't gloat. He doesn't celebrate over his fallen opponent. Instead, he extends a hand. McGregor looks up, nods, and takes it. Respect. The crowd, the experts, the fighters themselves, everyone knows they just witnessed something special. It wasn't just a fight. It was a battle of wills, a collision of two eras, a night that will be talked about for generations. McGregor didn't win, but he proved something undeniable. He belonged in that ring. And as the two warriors stand together under the bright arena lights, one thing is clear: this wasn't about victory or defeat. This was about legacy. And both men walked away as legends.